What's going on? Good summer, everybody?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, outstanding. Jeez. Went fast, though.
Did it?
Glad to be back.
What kind of chemistry do you see between Justin and DJ Moore? It seems that they're on the same page even at this early stage.
Yeah, it's simplified right now, but it's good that they're able to be on the same page. So as we continue to grow and things start to get a little bit more complicated with the looks that you're getting and then all the offense that we have in, we're going to make sure that we just continue to keep that pace. But they spent a lot of time together, obviously, in the offseason and in the summertime, too. So I feel good about where they're at.
Seems like you guys had a pretty clean day yesterday, and then today there was some more pre-snap penalties and a couple drops. Just how do you evaluate the first couple days?
Yeah, try not to get too excited about one way or the other. That's part of this process, and we're in that phase of we're challenging our guys with cadence. So we're not, we're not going to just try to get through practice and make it clean. We're going to challenge our guys with a bunch of different stuff like that. So sometimes that happens. We got to stick with it, and hopefully as we continue to go, all that stuff will get better and get cleaned up. And the young guys, right, you get one installation, now you got two installations. So sometimes they're thinking a little bit more than they're thinking about what they have to do rather than the situation that they're in.
Timing-wise, the ball coming out, how do you think that looks so far?
Yeah, I think all the guys are doing a pretty good job so far, right? We're still without pads, so it's all nice when you're not getting hit and everything. So that'll when we start getting the rush and all that other stuff, we got to make sure that we're on point. But for like I said, we're on a good pace right now.
Luke, when you're assessing Justin in 7-on-7 periods, what are the emphases for you? What are you zeroed in on to see his progress?
Yeah, the same stuff I always am. Like so, the timing, rhythm, the footwork, the progression, your eye placement, all the same stuff, and then making sure that our feet are leading us through our progression and our timing of that progression.
Luke, in the first couple, I know it's only 2 days or whatever, but what have you seen from Justin even now that he does better now? That it's just an obvious indication that he is making progress and that he didn't do a year ago.
Yeah, no, it's. I think I said this in the spring. It's fun to be able to. I said it to Mooney on the field today. Just say it's fun to be able to talk deeper into the concepts and stuff. And so, like, we're not talking about the simplicity of what the word means anymore. We're talking about what the reaction should be. And I think, having those next level conversations with Justin makes everything look like he's more comfortable with what we're doing. So I think it's not one particular thing. I think it's on a whole. When you see the guy who's comfortable with the footwork, with the progressions, with the communication in the huddle, with the cadence, you guys see him using a lot more cadence in the first 2 days. So all that stuff I think it's been fun.
Do you see the rhythm and the footwork that you're talking about? I know you said that it's hard. It's easy to do that when you're not in full pads, but. Does he look better now with that now at this point than he did last year when they weren't in pads?
I think, yeah, naturally he would, he should, right? And he does. And I expect it to be that way. I think it's just when I say that, there's that element of the pocket that has to move and change a lot more when there's a real rush. And so that's playing this position at the highest level when you're able to manipulate the pocket, not necessarily always scramble, but manipulate for an angle of a throw or anything like that. So that's what I'm more talking about.
Touched on it a little bit, but with Justin being comfortable with the playbook, but this entire offense now that they understand it and have a deeper understanding, where do you already see the comfortability and what you guys are able to do now just 2 days in a camp?
Yeah, that's probably bigger in the meeting room where the simplicity last year was more, we tried to keep it pretty direct. And so now I think that we're using our brains a little bit more. So we're trying to get a little crazier. We're trying to have a little bit more fun with things. And then the coolest part, the most important part, is that these guys are starting to take ownership of it. So it's theirs. It's not what I just said in a room. They're not robots. They're out there, putting their flavor on it, which is the most important thing when you want to go out and have success.
Luke, with Halas Jones, what's the biggest difference you've seen in how he attacks practice today versus on this day as a rookie?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I think Halas has been a guy who has always worked really hard at it, always has. And then, I think for him, you can see it when he breaks the huddle. Like where last year he was like, am I even going the left or right the correct way? And he's breaking the huddle, he's lining up, he's getting in his spot, and he's doing his assignments at a much higher rate now. So all that stuff, you can see it in his game.
So you coordinated the best rushing offense in football last year. I'm curious what you think about kind of the narrative about running backs and their place in the NFL in terms of getting paid, in terms of maybe feeling like they're undervalued?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much of an opinion on that. I really don't. I value the position very, very highly. Obviously, in our style of play, it's very important to us. But as far as like how much they get paid and all that other stuff, that's not really my forte.
In your style of play, both here and the last place you were, what's the value of having more than one guy you can throw in there?
And that's critical. We play 17 of these things, right? I mean, these guys, it's like impossible for anybody in the world to be able to endure that. And so you have to. And then, you know, the different things you want to do, the versatility, that part of it is really important as well, to be able to do a bunch of different styles of play.
What kind of expectations do you have for Darnell Wright when the pads go on? What are you interested to?
No, I'm interested in seeing him get better every single day. I think, you know, we haven't had a chance to see that yet. You know, I did a little bit at the Senior Bowl, right? But that was a raw version of him, and so now he has what we've been doing here, and it's just important that and he's done a great job of this, of really staying focused and working his butt off to get better at everything. And so I just want to make sure that we all stay on him, and we'll all stay working together to make sure that he can continue to stay focused, and he just gets better every day. And if he does, then that's going to help our football team.
Halas seems to have a pretty good day out there today. What's been your impression of him since he's got here? And if he's able to continue to stack days kind of like he seemed to have today, how high can he go up the depth chart? It seems like there's some vets in front of him, but how high could he potentially go up if he continues to stack days?
Yeah, I haven't put my mind to where he can go, but I'm excited about where he can go. I really have. I think that he's come in with the right mentality. He's a tough dude that works really hard, and when you have talent and you have those two things, like really good things are going to happen. And so I think he's a guy who's putting that on display. It's super early, like we just said, and we haven't asked him to do too much. We're trying to keep it in his wheelhouse. But he's attacking it every day the right way, and we got the same thing. If he's able to get better every single day, we're going to be better because of it. So we hope that happens.
What's his wheelhouse?
Well, when you come from a college schemes that don't do very much and don't move very much, we move a ton, and so you can see it like today. He probably had 3 or 4 alignments that were really off, but like in his mind, he was perfect because the spacing on the field. And when you motion or you shift, you're going to the boundary, you're going to the field. There's specific landmarks we want to get to. And so we're trying not to do too much of that with him so that he can play fast.
Luke, with Justin and the element of timing and going through his progressions and working towards getting rid of the ball faster, is there, I guess, maybe a balance and a goal of having him be comfortable taking the check down and taking kind of those layups that are there?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a critical part of playing the position, I think, is that, your feet take you through your progression and your timing. And so if your feet are telling you it's time to move on to the next guy, then it's time to move on to the next guy. And then if he's open, then you got to throw it to that guy and continue through your progression. And then when things break down and you can't stay in that rhythm, that's when, the best become the best, And so I think that's just a different part of the game. But the other part is super important too.
When holding onto the ball is an issue, how do you coach a guy out of that? How does that get improved from a coaching standpoint?
Holding onto the ball, meaning what? Like
just holding onto the ball too long and
that's our training. I mean, you guys see us out there all day. Coach Shinoku does a great job. I mean, that's pretty much 90% of what we do is that timing and rhythm and making sure that we have the ball where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be there. And so we just keep drilling the heck out of it, and then you take it to the team in 7-on-7 drills, and then hopefully that carries over into your games.
So does Justin show progress in that you can actually see when you watch film practice?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's done nothing but continue to get more comfortable with all that stuff throughout the time we've been here.
Luke, how do you feel like Darnell Mooney's looked in his first couple of practices back out there? And what's it going to take for him to get back to his old self?
No, yeah, I feel like he's done really well. We're taking it slow just because he hasn't done anything for quite some time, and so we're going to take it slow. There's no reason to hurry. He's got the banked reps, which is awesome, probably more so than anybody with Justin. So if there was somebody going through it, you'd probably pick him. But he's in all the mental reps. Him and Justin spend a lot of time together outside of the normal practice. So we feel like as long as he continues to get better and get healthy and everything like that, he should be off and running. He's done a little bit here and there, like he does the individuals and he does a couple reps a day, and then that'll just continue to grow through as we keep going.
With Foreman, what have been your earliest impressions of Foreman? I know obviously the pads aren't on yet, but and how do you see him being an asset to you guys offensively?
Yeah, I mean, he's experienced, right? Probably more so than anybody else. And again, running back's probably the hardest. You know, just that position. There is a knack and a vision and a tempo that pads and getting tackled and all that, breaking tackles. That's his game too. So I'm really excited to get to that point with him.
You had him flanked outside a couple times today. What kind of element can that add to the passing game? Having running backs that can line up at.
Oh yeah, that's versatility is what this league is about, right? I mean, guys that can do a bunch of different things. That makes it harder on the defense. You know, if a guy is stuck doing one thing all the time, that's really hard to get the advantage on the defense. So that's critical for what we want to keep getting better at and what we want to accomplish through camp.
We talked a lot during.
Going back to the statement about the simplicity of the offense last year versus this year. Take me through, what does that mean? So is there a time period you expect the offense to get acclimated to the scheme that you and the Floos have developed? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're building a house, right? And you build the foundation first, and then as you keep building the house, you get the fancy things that get to go with it. And so that we're in that process. You know, we're still in the early phases of it, but we're building towards that. And so that's probably the best analogy I can give you. And like I said, the coolest part is that when the players take ownership and make it their own, that's when you know you've got something.
We talked a lot during OTAs about new personnel and all these new weapons that you have in offense, but now that camp is here, you see them all together. What excites you most about the next step for this group?
You know, it truly is the whole. As part of our offensive unit meeting on the first day, we talked about like the teamwork aspect of it and what it takes to be a great team. And I think that part of it is exciting. That we feel like we've gotten better in every area, and the brotherhood that's in that room is pretty special. And I think it's only going to continue to grow. So I think, really enjoy coaching these guys and going to work with these guys every single day. So it's a broad statement, but that's truly how I feel. The teamwork part of it is really important to me, and it's important to our entire unit.
Look, at this time last year, a lot of mixing and matching on the offensive line. Now you've got 5 guys. I imagine that helps the offense, but when you get pads on, how does that help Justin? Or does that consistency with some?
Yeah, no, it's all of it.
Specificity, if you could just explain how that might help Justin as in his development.
I mean, just think about the amount of communication that happens from the time the play call is given to the quarterback to the time the play is over. And I say that because the quarterback's communicating a play, and then he's going to the line of scrimmage and he's communicating more things. And so when you have the reps at communicating with one another, now that happens faster. You almost anticipate what the guy wants, right? And so all that stuff is really important. Your cadence and how them hearing Justin's voice and the way he does it, all that's really important. So anytime we can get repetitions together as a group, and when you can get 5 guys most of the time, then that's usually a really good sign for the way your season's going.
I remember last year you working on those cadences too this time of year. Did you end up reducing those at all once you got to the season, and are you now increasing those because it seems like everyone's been here and they can handle it better?
I think it starts with quarterback center and how much they want to do and how much they're capable of doing. And if you can remember, like Lucas was the guy, and then he got hurt, and then it was Sam, and then and all that stuff. And I think the comfortability that Justin has with everything, and then PJ and Nate and Tyson the same thing. They're now hearing Justin do it a certain way, and they're trying to mimic that as well. So I think when we can get all those guys doing it the same way, it allows you to do more.
Chase had the drop in 7-on-7, and then when he comes back in 11-on-11, bobbles it, but still is able to pull it in. How encouraging is that to see that sort of bounce back a couple plays later from him?
Yeah, for sure. Anytime a guy can let the last play go and move forward, whether it's a good play or a bad play, move forward and go make the next plays, that's a really important skill to have. And that was it was great to see him finish that play. And I think he's had a nice start to camp so far, and we're just continue to build on since the time he's been here.
Thanks, guys.